Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to episode 7 of Koganaros, the fortress by the sea, made to build a bridge between two continents. Today, we will trade with the mountain home. We will try to help our stoneworker to fulfill his need to create an artifact, and, well, maybe we will find the caverns today. I don't know if this is really something I should press harder right now for, because, I really also want to go and expand my workshop area and use it wisely. Because we got a lot of room here that we can use, and in the last episode, we had a lot of exploration mining happening. And, by now I have a pretty good knowledge about what the stones are that we have available for our fortress, and most importantly, we've found so much gold. So we will either today dig even deeper than that, but we already went very, very deep in the past, and all in all, we still haven't found anything about the caverns. Be that as it may, let's get into today's business after a quick pointer towards Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me a Coffee. I'd be really delighted if you'd give those links in the description box a look if you want to support the channel. These are the best ways and means to do so, because almost no fees for me, making your donation as efficient as possible. Now, that all being said, let's get into trading. So for today, the good thing is we got wares that we can sell. We can sell the gemstones that we have cut. The only difficulty is just to find them. It's always the same. Gem bin. Here we go. That's what we need. I don't think that we have made already enough cobaltite crafts to actually think about selling them. So instead, we're just going to send the gems and the broker. The artifact that we got in the making. Let's see what's happening there. So, Eurist wants rough gems, rock, and yarn cloth. That is a piece of bad news. So, Dwarf Fortress knows 3 different types of cloth. There's silk cloth made out of spider webs, there's regular cloth made out of plant fiber, and there's yarn cloth made out of sheep wool and the like. So, let's see if we can... We have a sheep. Okay. So maybe we can make this guy a survivor. So quickly, we're going to the farmer's shop and we're going to shear an animal. Hopefully that'll do the trick. I'll even postpone the trading for a second because that's really, really life-threatening here. So our outpost liaison will have their talk. We're not going to order anything right now because I wouldn't even know what. They're selling meat and quivers here, and let's see, stray wool. So, if I remember correctly, this now has to be spun into yarn cloth here. Most important task in the fortress, I think. Or is that not even possible right now because it's the wrong stuff? That would be tragic, wouldn't it? So let's see. Maybe that just didn't get done because they're... Oh boy. So maybe we need to spin thread first and then we can make it into wool. Maybe that's the thing. Because I don't know that Dwarf Fortress makes any differences in these. So let's see. Okay, so we have sheep wool yarn. Does that motivate Eurist to go into motion? No. Alright, so let's see. I don't want to have this poor guy die. We have everything he needs, except for that stupid piece of cloth. So let's see. And now he's moving. We just saved his life. Alright, so let's take a last look down there. There's rough gemstone available, so now we can finally trade. First things first, I'm pretty sure the traders here would totally understand. Same things must happen at their home. The thing is just quite simple. These traders rarely sell, if ever, cloth made out of animal. Or at least the mountain home caravans that I had most of the time. I mean, with this game, I think nothing is impossible since it's procedurally generated according to what's really happening on these tiles. Well, we're buying some spider silk cloth because that stuff is hard to achieve right now, especially since we don't have any breakthrough to the caverns. Bought some leather too because it's always nice to have, and most importantly, we're buying cooking ingredients. So, buying all the meat. I'm passing on the plump helmets. We have 2,000 drink. Rather pick up the leaves and fruits, and even more leaves and fruits. Berries, to be precise. Okay, that should get us some food going. Alright. Let's pay with some garnets until we're in the greens. I want to have these people happy. They are brothers and sisters after all. So we're also going to donate something back to the mountain home. This gives our fortress good reputation, and I think that's where we're going to go into this direction. There we go. So that's that. We don't need the trader here anymore. Food will now be transported into the fortress. Brilliant. So let's have a look at our moody dwarf here. I want to make sure that no accidents happen here. It's always a tragedy. But I think... Here we go. Works furiously. That's what I like to see. So let's see what has transpired in between. We've got a storage spot for gold nuggets here. This fortress has so much native gold. We're totally gonna do something with that. I foresee a implementation into the bridge construction somehow. I gotta do this, you know. Dwarves be like if you got it flaunted, especially if it's gold, man. Alright, so let's see. Down here, everything is so far so good. The only thing that I want to have now here is a gigantic storage stockpile for Gabbro. Because I have decided that Gabbro is going to be the primary stone for our fortress. It's available, it's gray, it's durable, and is it even magma resistant? I don't know anymore. But we're going to put up some wheelbarrows here. I'm not sure about that. Gabbro is even magma safe, so it's a really, really versatile stone. I really like that. So this is where we will store that stuff. And the cool part about that is our stone workers will actually have a quite easy time getting towards there, because they can just wheeze here, go a few staircases down and pick it up. Staircases don't matter for dwarfs. Unlike me, they don't care about that. They must have buttocks out of steel, but whatever. So, we got all that settled. Now, our next missions. We got a couple of rooms here available, but I can already foresee this will be not enough. Mostly because at some point in the near future, we will receive a bit of a migration flood. The more prosperous and happy your fortress is, the more of these will come. And while there is a stagnation for a couple of years, that will stop. That stagnation won't last forever. So we're going to be prepared and start to carve out a couple of extra bedrooms here. I'm going for those super easy to staff out first, i.e. the ones that are not in sand. Sand is a real bummer here. I gotta say, it's massively complicating and slowing down things. But I mean, at the end of the day, I do appreciate challenges while building a fortress, you know? So, we could, of course, reduce the amount of room every dwarf has, but, you know, considering the future of this fortress, Corganaros will become a super wealthy spot. Not only do we have lots of gold in the subterrane here, we also happen to be the center of trade between one continent and the other. So, I like to roleplay my fortresses a lot, and this entire Savage Lands series has been a lot of roleplay, so why should I stop here? In short, what I'm trying to get into here is that I think that this fortress should not be featuring any shabby rooms. We're so rich, we even made that happen. Jeez, what happened to the sound there? So let's chill down a bit with the sound effects. Alright, what did we craft? It was a magnetite table. Bam. So let's see. Does it have anything funky going on it? So, yeah, here. On the item is an image of the tan named Cleanses the human and Mithy Swift Quiet the goblin. Alright. So, somebody died in the year 101. Okay, lots of goblin artwork here. Okay, so it's a table depicting how goblins kill humans. Right, with a lot of gemstone and made out of raw magnetite. You go, Jurist, you go. Sometimes I'm really baffled about what they do there. But the randomization generator of Dwarf Fortress is so good that it usually spits out things that fit the mold of my fantasy quite well. I keep being very, very impressed about how good Dwarf Fortress manages to do that. Alright, the magnetite table. We probably will put that into some nobleman's apartment one day. But we really don't have enough room for our furniture. This is not getting us anywhere. Alright. In the meantime, yeah, the Gabbro transportation has started. So, I want to think about the fortress in itself, you know? We will have a gigantic task up ahead of us. Therefore, it's really important that I start to think about that. I already have some plans, you know? We have this slope here, and when we go down here, we can go into the open sea. So my plan is to make this fortress thrown on this hilltop, and from the fortress itself, on some Z levels, height 2, 3, or 4, we will start building the bridge south, all the way south. And then, after a while, we'll go over here. I don't want to build it diagonal, because that would really look weird. Or would it? I mean, this is really one thing where I'm a little bit at a loss. I mean, we could technically just cross over here. Let's see, would this make sense for the geography? Yeah, it would. So, I guess a straight line is better than a curve. Yeah, we're going to let it go from there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm really curious about your ideas. We're far away from implementing anything, but one thing is already for sure. This area here where the trade depot lies will be all fortress yard. I plan to do this to lay down brick on this entire area here, and basically this will be the yard of the fortress, and then I'll do a little bit of a fortress building here on the hilltop. That's the plan so far. But until that happens, we will need Gabbro. Tons of Gabbro. Also, I want to think about a little bit of a better defense here, because currently enemies can just drop down the shaft and straight out murder everybody. I don't like that. So we got to work on something more effective here as well. Probably just seal down tight one of these stair shafts and divert it somewhere through the earth. But before the next caravan of migrants arrives, we don't have to worry about anything. There will be no attacks. Few bandits tops, but we have cage traps in that case set up and running, so we are actually as safe as you can be in the early game. I just need more personnel to get anything done. I mean, the good news here is, for us, we got masters in terms of weapon creation. We have the weaponsmiths we got are among the most talented ones that you could wish for. That's some sweet bonus. You know, my first wave had, if I remember correctly, even high master weaponsmiths. And don't know how it was with the armor smithing, but we're going to take a closer look on that once it's time for it. Here again, Koganaros is impressing with tedium, and we got to replace those walls. It just is not bearable for any dwarf to live next to a sandy wall. Sand, though, is also something I was pondering about. We are living at a shore, and you can make glass out of sand, so this is also an option that I shouldn't put down totally, you know. We can do a lot of good stuff there with that, but currently this fortress is, well, mostly in lack of hands, but look at how happy they are. Oh boy, we're doing something right here. Okay. I mean, it will be glorious once we got all the gold and metal running. I mean, this fortress is legit capable of churning out steel so quickly. I love it. This is just what you need to make yourself a glorious little dwarven fortress. Right on. So we chipped away all the sand, and we're now finally preparing a fine bedroom for more people. This is imperative. This is so often I have neglected this task, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you have 50, 60, 70 people living in your fortress. I've been there, and the happiness can plummet so quickly if you lag behind with the construction of these things. Especially since we have to replace so much of this area with the wall. Since we have to replace so many walls in this area, we are really on a tight schedule here. And we don't have that many people. I'm very happy now that I decided to have so many rock salt blocks cut in advance. That really got us somewhere. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we're using up our reserves already pretty quickly. Pretty sure about that. But, you know, whatever. DF Hack is making these things so easy. I know I keep saying that every episode, but that's only because it's so thrilling. You know, I was bleeding. Really, don't play this game without DF Hack. Don't do this to yourself. Maybe do it until you have learned the ropes. That's okay. That's something I can very much relate to. But after that, don't do this to yourself. Once you know how the game works, please use DF Hack. Save yourself some pain. All right. Let's carve out the last few sand walls. Speaking about pain, jeez, that's what I mean with this place is so much work. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be brilliant apartments in an environment where you usually don't have brilliant apartments. So I think that's totally worth it. All right. Now, let's plaster some beds in there, and then let's head on to something more exciting. But these things, they are very, very important. Here we just created living room for 16 more people, if I didn't miscount here, so... Yeah, I'm placing down the beds in advance, that's no problem. Let's just draw quickly the walls that we're lacking, and then we're going to go back into our mines. Because there's a lot of things that I still am not happy with, but there's one thing I'm very happy with, and that's the fact that we have successfully dug our way below the ocean without getting our feet wet. We can currently pick up whatever we want down here. Not there. Here. So where was that? Here. This tunnel was a big triumph, because if we go now upstairs, watch the elevation levels, we're now directly below the ocean. That means down here, we are, at least for a while, safe from the aquiferous rock Probably gonna return. I've had my experiences with ocean maps, but yeah, it's like that. Good. We got a lot of coke, but let's see. Lignite and bituminous coal were to be found so far only in the higher levels of the fortress. That's in so far bad, as these are the areas where we also don't happen to have too much excess. So let me show you what I mean. For example, here there's lignite, but in this layer we quickly get, we get into aquiferous rock, and that's just noping us out quite hard. Oh dear, I also meant to dig myself some new irrigation in time. There we go. Just ordering that casually. We've set up most of the things that we require here, so we can pretty much just wait for that to be caved out, and when it's done, we can get there. Alright, so Koganaros is thriving, and I even saved my dude from the death. Let me check. This place here, well, we need to put proper walls here. I cannot remember what exactly I had planned for this, but I am fond that we don't want to have sand walls. Alright. I can't wait to get this fortress done to a point where we can actually utilize all the really fancy things. Like, for example, the, what's it called? All that metal. Yeah, what's it called? Metal. Duh. Alright, the furniture area is finally expanded. And, well, right now I don't have the stomach to do this, but we will erase these bedrooms here soon and free up the room for the workshops. Very important after all. Now then, so, last but not least, let's paint some bedrooms over that. There we go. And a couple of walls here. So our city is making fine progress here. That's one thing for sure. We've made so many new apartments happen, and that'll give us some leeway ahead. Because I can tell you, dwarves grow unhappy without bedrooms. Bedrooms are, in my opinion, as a matter of fact, one of the easiest ways to give your fortress some stability early on, because it really just takes a bed and a door. They don't require that much. Okay, so how much coke do we have in our stockpiles? So, 300. Nice. Alright. So, I'll dare to issue another task. Oh, and by the way, we should actually store our metal bars here. Just realized. Let's store metal here. That's good. And we safely can issue the smelting of some gold. At the beginning of a fortress, I like to go for singular tasks where they get to smelt down the stuff now 10 times, because later we are going to automate these things, but currently I like to monitor that. Oh, more cobaltite. Sweet. So let's see what our digging teams have found. So 10 stories deep here and 10 stories deep here. Alright. I forgot to dig out that shaft. My bad. I also meant to dig out 10 stories deep here, but that's not so much of a big deal. We can now connect the dots. It's just for me a bit of a geometry game, so I can triangulate my boreholes to each other, you know. We also reap a lot of stone by doing this. And phyllite, by the way, is going to be the glorious replacer if the Gabbro should ever run out. It won't happen, I guess. But phyllite and Gabbro, as far as I know, have pretty much the same appearance if you process them. That's pretty cool. Okay, so far so good. We still are miles away from a proper organization system. That's bothering me currently the most. Things are quite chaotic down here, but, you know, it's okay. We don't need to have the perfect organization system right from the get-go. Nobody asks for that. Are there any animals here? Buzzard women and men. So these guys are actually flying around here. So they are basically the locals, if I understood that correctly now. Wow, so much gold. Nice. That's really sweet. Gotta say, this is one of the coolest aspects of this fortress. That's truly one of the coolest aspects of this fortress. And I'm quite amused by myself that cobaltite is Orecraft's material, because it creates a fun little scavenger hunt for things. And look at all that lignite here. There's even more here in that direction. Let's get it as well. Gives me always a good feeling to be ahead of these things. And while we're at it, we're also going to make some magnetite jobs. So we get some iron and some gold available to work with, you know. If I ever feel like going for some building with that or anything. You can really make badass apartments by just plastering the floor with iron bars. It's damn costly, yes. You have to spend a lot of money for that, but at the same time, it increases the value of the apartment tremendously, and therefore it makes the people in there also tremendously more happy. Also a nice way to satisfy the needs of your noblemen later. Alright. So, the wall smoothing job is just something odd that I like to put in between. But it doesn't seem as if we've found the caverns either this time. So we're going to continue with our boring task. Looks like our miners went to sleep for once. Here I'm doing just the same thing over and over again, because it's just very effective to just keep yourself going deeper and deeper. I'm staggering the staircases, by the way, because it's always a nice thing if you have staircases you can seal off if you happen to dig somewhere you didn't want to dig. It really sucks when you have one big shaft that you need to seal off and you need to redo everything. If you have stairs like these, you only lose 10 levels of your entire enterprise. And you can continue somewhere else. It's at least the basic idea behind that, in case you were wondering. So, hey, they did it actually. Nice. So, we're going to need a channel here. I don't have any clue if I still have any hatches. I didn't order any, I bet. Well. This has been a really, really good run so far for today. We completed the artifact. I was able to give you an idea about the foundations of this place, and we're successfully striking the earth deeper and deeper. So in the upcoming episodes, we're going to organize more of this in this fortress, of course, but for now, I'm keeping the tasks low. We only have 23 people after all here, and a portion of these are kids. So all in all, we can't expect things to be in a in a really good workflow yet. But we will be getting there. I expect that it can be only 1 or 2 more episodes with this low amount of workers available. Until then, we're building up this place, and I think it's going to be gorgeous. Still need to think about some stone to floor these areas, because the sand, sand is horrible. It's coarse, it's rough, and it's getting everywhere. So I hope you had a great day, and I hope you had a good show here. Leave me your comments, leave me a thumbs up, and consider subscribing. And like I said quite often before, there's a link to the Let's Play channel of mine, the second one that I'm establishing currently. Once it hits 1,000 subscribers, you can expect way more content there from my side. Thank you for watching yet again. Thanks for being there until the bitter end, and have a wonderful day.